Some musicians dominate not just with skill, but with sheer presence. Keith Moon, the legendary drummer of The Who, defined the animal drummer, wild, chaotic, electrifying. Recently, a few of you in the comments on this channel have noticed something very fascinating. Paulina Villarreal from The Warning channels that same energy, but in a completely different way. Today we're going to explore how charisma, technique, and discipline have transformed this drumming archetype from Keith Moon to Pau. So what do we mean by animal drummer? It's more than technical skill, it's the combination of presence, unpredictability, and the ability to energize a band. Keith Moon embodied that in the 60s and 70s. Every fill, every crash felt like controlled chaos. But as rock music evolved, bands learned the cost of pure chaos. Missed cues, inconsistency, and sometimes even health consequences. That's where the next generation, including Paulina, takes the animal archetype to a new level. Keith Moon's style was revolutionary. He didn't just keep time, he propelled songs with his personality. Fills often ignored standard patterns, creating tension and excitement. So songs like My Generation or Won't Get Fooled Again aren't just memorable, they're shaped by the sheer unpredictability of Mooney's energy. That same intensity came with volatility, from thrilling to chaotic. In short, Keith Moon took the animal drumming thing to the extreme both on stage and off, and his penchant for causing chaos became an impediment to The Who's music. While he was one of the greatest drummers that ever lived, he had a problem with consistency and he had a problem with interacting with the band. Now, fast forward to today. Paulina carries that same charisma, but she channels it with focus and precision. Her fills hit with the same intensity, but unlike Mooney, every note that Paulina plays is considered and serves the song. Paulina demonstrates that you don't need chaos to energize a band, but you can use technique, endurance, and timing to amplify charisma in a sustainable way. So a lot of you have commented that Paulina reminds you of Moon. But there's a clarity and control in her playing that I don't see in Moon's. But at the same time, the overpowering energy of the two is definitely similar. So what does the evolution of the animal drummer tell us? Well, high charisma, high energy drummer archetype, definitely not dead. It's adapting. Moon showed what raw intensity looks like, but Paulina shows how that intensity can be sustained. The energy is still there, but it seems smarter, longer lasting, and more fully integrated. So for drummers, this evolution offers a few lessons. One is charisma is about presence and not just recklessness. 2, technical controls amplifies and rather than diminishes charisma. And 3, understanding the history of drumming lets you innovate on the past and remain respectful while inheriting and refining and extending everything that came before. So the animal drummer lives on, transformed, and is more disciplined, but also more impactful than ever. If you noticed that Keith Moon and Paulina have many similarities, you weren't wrong. But one thing that's drastically different between the two is by building on what came from the past, Paulina is extending this charismatic role of the drummer to areas it hasn't been in the past. This is important not just for drumming and not just for The Warning, because it shows that you can change the traditional dynamics of a band with the lead singer or lead guitarist taking most of the spotlight without necessarily upsetting the impact. So let me hear from you. Do you see many similarities between Paulina and Mooney? And what do you think in general of the animal drummer archetype?
MusicGuru here, asking you to help us on our march to 10,000 subscribers.